There's a lot of talk about the big, beautiful bill right now, and it's pretty much a bloodbath, okay? We can't really determine what the bill is good for and what it's not good for, because if you look at anything that's from this side, it's really bad. If you look at anything from this side, it's like the best thing since sliced bread. All right. There really is not an objective answer on this at all. So I did some scraping and I'll give you my opinion on this one. And I definitely want yours. So first off, I'm going to start directly speaking to veterans. And for veterans specifically, the big, beautiful bill gets rid of the 90-10 rule. I will explain what that is here in a second. Okay. Let me show you exactly where that's at. So it passed the Senate with amendments. It's got to go back to the House. Okay, this is where it's at right now before it's sent to the president and is signed into law. So there's one line in here, section 30051. It's pretty small, so I'll go ahead and read it to you. This section repeals the 90-10 rule, which requires proprietary, so for-profit IHEs, which is higher education, participating in federal student aid programs, federal, there's the key word, to derive at least 10% of their tuition and fee revenue from non-federal funds. Now, I will explain what that is, all right? But really quick, I did not, this did pass the House and went to the Senate. I was almost certain the Senate was going to push this back, but then I realized that it's lobbyists who really control the country, not the people. Anyways, and there's my opinion on that one. But the 90-10 rule right now forces higher education institutions to receive at least 10% of its profit from sources that are not federally funded. Okay, so for instance, let's say veterans, we had the post 9/11 GI Bill, the Montgomery GI Bill, we have VeteranAI. I went to University of Maryland Global Campus for my undergrad. I'm almost finished with my master's from Grand Canyon University. Both of those schools must have at least 10%. I'm sorry. Their 10% caps how much federal funds they can obtain, right? So if their 10% is this much, then their 90% can only be this much. Whereas if their 10% is larger, okay, their 90% can be larger. So the reason it's bad, okay, is because higher education institutions will really they are really going to target the veteran community. And this is for veterans specifically, but this goes out to anyone who uses federal funds for school, to really target veterans and give them baloney degrees, baloney certificates that are useless, by the way, and raking in that sweet, sweet post 9/11 GI Bill money. It's crazy to me that went through the House and the Senate. Hello, there should be alarms going off right there, but that's bad. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a broad overview of this whole, the meat and potatoes. This thing's huge. I'm going to go ahead and leave this below in the pinned comments. If you like reading bills, have at it, okay? But here are the highlights that I've seen. There are some tips and overtime advantages here for deductions, right? So you would have to do your taxes for deductions, not the standard deduction there. That part's key. We have some state income tax deductions, meaning the more state tax you pay, the less federal tax that you will pay. All right. And hey, if you're over 65 years, okay, if you're 65 years or older, you'll be taking a $6,000 reduction just because. And so that definitely pertains to a lot of that Vietnam, post-Vietnam peacetime crowd there. So that's good for you. Golden Dome and defense to include border control is definitely part of this. The debt ceiling is part of this. The increase in debt for sure. The biggest changes are to healthcare. It's estimated that 10.9 million people will lose Medicaid over the next 10 years. The assumption is a lot of those are going to be veterans, okay? Now, we're just going to go on Twitter here, or X, excuse me. And you will see the bloodbath that's happening. This is
our veterans have sacrificed. Our veterans.
Hold on. Let me get this right. Let's go ahead and just play a few clips. These are super, super short.
Our veterans have sacrificed enough at the altar of freedom. We should not be forcing them to sacrifice even more. Second, if you're going to rip away veterans' health care, the least we should do is tell them. My amendment would require HHS to notify veterans who are losing Medicaid coverage due to this bill. Our veterans have sacrificed.
Okay. This bill, by the way, is in direct reference to the big, beautiful bill. And this is House Committee on Veteran Affairs. Okay. This is small business stuff. We'll kind of skip that. Here's Takano again.
Republicans have chosen to decimate healthcare infrastructure in rural and underserved communities. Republicans have chosen to harm seniors by forcing them to choose between basic necessities and healthcare. Republicans have chosen to callously hurt disabled people who need long-term care. No one is spared from this monument to greed, and that includes veterans. To allow my colleagues a modicum of course correction, I'm offering several amendments to try and blunt the impact of this devastating billionaire handout. Republicans have chosen to decimate.
All right, there's that, right? So from one side, it's going to be really, really bad. The other side, it's going to be really good. So here's another post from the House Veterans Affairs Democrats. This 900-page bill is a travesty and a gut punch. It puts the interest of the richest and most connected billionaires, polluters, and tech companies over every other American who is just trying to get by. It decimates healthcare. It literally takes food off the table of the vulnerable, and it even stoops so low that it actively harms veterans. That part's highlighted there. This big, beautiful betrayal undermines our shared American values. All right. That's the VA here. This is the House Committee on Veteran Affairs. Veterans deserve cutting-edge access to healthcare. The one big, beautiful bill would promote the development of new drugs to treat rare diseases and expand access to life-saving care. There's definitely going to be some cuts to SNAP. That's what that's about there. We got the VA, we got the VA, we got the VA, we got the VA. There's probably more stuff on the big, beautiful bill. Where in the world did it go? Democrats, Trump's big, beautiful betrayal directly impacts veterans and their families, from cuts to SNAP and Medicaid to its inevitable cost of living increase. Republicans are not helping Americans with this bill, and they certainly are not helping our nation's veterans. And then it says 1.2 million veterans live in households that receive food assistance through SNAP. 1.6 million veterans are enrolled in Medicaid. Yeah, there we go. What is my opinion on the bill? And this is good. It's just not scripted. I have no script in front of me. This is my genuine thoughts here. It's too confusing. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm not going to do. Let me tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to read this thing. Oh, I do not have time to sit here and read all this. Okay. If there's a resource that's not ChatGPT that can break this down and summarize it, that's not affiliated with any political party whatsoever, sure, let me know. But I don't know. It's difficult for me to comment on what I don't know. What I do know is the 90-10 rule sucks. Okay. Let me rephrase that. The 90-10 rule needs to stay, okay? Getting rid of the 90-10 rule is bad. Getting rid of the 90-10 rule does nothing for the veteran, by the way. It is only to benefit those who are benefiting from that, from receiving funds from GI Bill money, from Montgomery money, from VeteranAI money. Obviously, there's a slew of other federally funded higher education stuff. And I'm not talking about the veteran there. Okay, sure, we'll get housing, we'll pay for school, but someone makes a profit, and that's who's like, we're going to use your benefits with or without the 90-10 rule. The only thing The only outcome of getting rid of the 90-10 rule is it benefits those who are making a buttload of money. Yeah, there's my thoughts.